Okay, so welcome to the other side. Here I want to look at the price movement of some uranium and rare earth stocks, because I think this is presenting once in a lifetime opportunity. Here we have Uranium Energy Corporation. It's a Texas-based company. It's been expanding. You can see there's been a bit of a volatile ride here, putting it very mildly. This was the global financial crisis, when hedge fund managers and Goldman Sachs and those kind of people who were heavily into the whole story about nuclear energy expansion, the undersupply of uranium, and the upside potential for all these companies. However, during the global financial crisis, many investors needed their funds back, so the fund managers had to sell whatever they could, and in this case uranium stocks went down quite heavily. Stocks that like this were in the region of $2 went down to 10 cents. So sometimes, fundamentals do not tie in with the charts, or let's say the charts don't tie in with the fundamentals. So the chart's always the overriding factor. We then gave this as a buy when it was somewhere in the region of $22, 22 cents, which is around this point here at the beginning to late 08, and then it went on to rise in its first move to somewhere in the region of $3.60, and then it went into a sideways formation for quite some period. Now, as many of you will know, there was a tragedy in Japan where a tsunami hit northern Japan, and it affected the nuclear energy plant there, which was built 40 years ago, and this should have been decommissioned 10 years ago. So they built something on a fault line in the path of the tsunami, and it was really already past its closure date. So there were some issues with that, and with that, human emotions drive markets more than anything else. There's been a massive sell-off in uranium stocks because Japan's now questioning nuclear energy. Germany said it's going to decommission its nuclear energy plants, but this, in my view, is ridiculous because we have global warming, we have power issues globally, and the only real way out of this is to embrace nuclear energy. Now, nuclear energy is nowhere near this monster that everyone keeps talking about. In fact, it's one of the cleanest, safest forms of energy of the last 20 or 30 years. I can tell you right now that there is a supply-demand imbalance. There's more demand than current supply coming out of the ground. It has been used up by, or has been filled up, if you like, by the decommissioning of nuclear missiles and warheads from Russia, but that's coming to an end in the foreseeable future. And China has seized the future and is on a huge nuclear energy plant expansion. In the next months, if not years, they will start to launch 2 new nuclear energy plant construction sites per week. India is following suit, and many across the globe are following suit. So let's get into it. This is Nuclear Energy Corporation, and let's have a look. Just back in March time, February-March time, it was $7, and it declined all the way to $2.75. Then we've come back to this long-term base area. This is where we were basing out in 09 into 2010. We then had a breakout of this downtrend. We've come back to find support, and you can see every time the stock is looking to go lower than here, then it's supported, and now we have a breakout to the upside. So to me, I think over time, Uranium Energy Corporation will be going back to attack that level, which is $7, and it's $3.72 now. And I just advise you to expect the unexpected and sometimes the seemingly unbelievable, and this stock will go above that level. Look at rare earths. Again, China's controlling the supply of rare earths, and it looks to me as if there's going to be a near-term shortage in rare earths. They need it for all the new technology, from iPads and iPhones to smartphones, to solar panels, to wind turbines, to all the new hybrids, and to the majority of the defense equipment that people like the US rely on. So this was all a bit of a rational play here. It's wanted to sell off from April last year, but the amazing thing is from the end of 2010, a lot of the rare earth elements themselves have been in a buying panic because people realise there's a shortage. Most of the element names are quite difficult to say, but let's have a go at neodymium oxide. Is up 1,400%, which is huge since last year. Lanthanum oxide is up 7,843%. Cerium oxide is up 9,903%. The average rare earth is up well past 1,000%, but the stocks have been correcting. Let's have a look at the next one. We're back on uranium again. You can see this was the bottoming out period, 2009, 2010. We've started to take off to the races here. Then we have the problem in Japan, huge correction, and you can see now that this looks like being the long-term support level. If we just get into a bit of chart drawing, let's say real live chart drawing, and let's have a look here. It looks as if we have a rising interest here in buying. We had a little dip here. In order to get a really confirmed buy signal and really to be off to the races, we really need to see that trend line broken. So this is where support's coming in, this is where selling's coming in, and we're in this sideways moving market. Now normally the longer this sideways movement, and we're talking about, if we look down here, March, this is March through to July, the sideways movement, when we get a breakout of that movement, the extent of the breakout should match at least the size of the sideways movement. Because of the fundamentals, because of the technical setup, it looks to me once we break this, then we're looking at attacking this previous high of 6 and probably higher than that. Flip back to rare earths again, similar chart to before. Try to break out at the beginning of the year, along with the stock market in stocks and metals. Rare earths been bundled in there. We seem to be bottoming out here. I'd like to see, let's get into some chart action here. I'd like to see if we look at this trend line here, I'd really like to see a break up through there in order to get a buy. But for more aggressive people, you buy here, you probably put your stop loss at this point. Again, let's go in and just draw some trend lines. We'll ignore the oversized movement to the low and look at these bottoms. If you buy now, the stop loss would be here. So that's quite a good risk-reward ratio. This is rare elements. Another rare earth stock, similar chart. Here you can see support. Let's just take another look here. You know, if we take this bottom and we go across here, we can see that's the support level, and to the upside we need to see a bit more action, unless you're a bit more aggressive, like myself. And then if we look at that, this could be quite interesting, because this resistance level stopped that movement on the way up. More people wanted to sell. We went back to this level. No one's wanting to buy before the new price levels, before support came in driving the price up, but it didn't reach these levels of before. Before selling came in, we hit new lows. This low is with that low and this low, so that's possibly a triple bottom. Then we seem to have pierced that downside resistance point, and quite often you can pierce it and then you trundle back down that resistance level, which now support. We've hit support here. Any movement to the upside, and I think this stock will be going above $18. Avalon Rare Earths, very similar situation. Here's the support, looking quite good. If we get a breakout not far above here, 650, I think we'll be off to the races. So let's put in a few trend lines, which we'll use when we come back to this in the future. That is support. Again, we could be just breaking, below that, and we're at these support levels. So I think this could be another one to watch. And then finally, we've got Uranium Resources. This was way back here in 09. This was resistance. There was resistance here. Then we broke above it, and then we've tested all the way back to this previous resistance point. We've gone through the trend angle, the resistance angle. We really need to see some price action now, pushing these uranium stocks up. So I've probably gone over the limit. I just wanted to point out that the price of uranium and the price of rare elements has been rising. These stocks have fallen. I believe it's a good opportunity. So happy investing. If you want to know more, please contact me at support@richmondhk.com or growth opportunities at Optimizer.